Do you have these short little baby hairs that just stick out straight whenever you wear your hair up, or they just end up looking like a little puff of frizz on the side of your head? Well, I definitely have them too, and in this video, I'm gonna show you 2 ways to style them depending on your curl type. I'm also gonna show you how you can better cover your scalp if you are currently suffering from hair loss. I'm also going to cover how to refresh and touch up this area and how to style the baby hairs when you're wearing your hair up. So let's go ahead and get started. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Gina, and here I make videos all about naturally curly hair. I love doing simplified step-by-step tutorials and really helping you problem solve with your curls. I make videos like this every single week, so definitely consider subscribing if you're not already. And if you are a subscriber of mine, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. So let's go ahead and dive in. So let's briefly discuss what are baby hairs. So baby hairs are those short little hairs that you usually get all along your hairline. Most people have them. It is normal because our hair is always going to be growing in. We're always going to have shorter hairs in different areas of our hair because all of our hairs might be at a different point in their hair growth cycle. A lot of times these are from new growth, which is new hair that's growing in, or they can also be from breakage, which is where the hair breaks off from some type of friction or force to it, and the hair is actually shorter than the rest of the hair on your head. So regardless if it is new growth or if it's breakage, the styling techniques are pretty much going to be the same. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So before I shampoo my hair, I like to always use a hair oil. This one is from Bouclim. It's the Revive 5 hair oil, and I like to use this as a pre-poo treatment to help detangle my hair while it's dry. This just reduces breakage and can also protect your hair from further breakage during the shampooing process. So I usually let that sit for at least 5 minutes or even overnight. If you have time, that's even better. And then I'm going to shampoo and condition my hair, and then we'll be ready to style. So once my hair is clean, I'm going to be applying my styling products to damp hair. And for my styling products, I'm trying out a new combo using 2 of my favorite products. This is the Bounce Curl Clump and Define Cream. This is a really great curl cream for all curl types. I really like using this in the fall and the winter when my hair gets a lot drier. It has a lot of oils in it, making it great for moisture retention. So I'm applying this all over my hair, but really focusing it on those really dry areas. One thing I wanted to note is make sure you're getting the top area of your hair moisturized, especially around the area of your hair where you have the new growth coming in and the baby hairs, and even at the root. I don't directly apply a ton of cream to the root area, but I do still carry up any leftover cream that's on my hand, because if you think about it, if you never apply your conditioners or your creams to your roots, then that hair is never really getting moisturized until it grows out. So I do still apply some to it. I'm not somebody that completely avoids my roots. So now I'm going in with the Ouidad Advanced Climate Control Stronger Hold Gel. This is one of my favorite gels of all time, especially in the really humid months, but I do still use this year round. This contains lots of polyquat ingredients which help to block out humidity from your hair, and I'm just applying this in sections. I like to apply it very thoroughly. And we're going to get to the baby hair section in just a minute, but I just wanted to show some other tips, such as applying your products to the root area to make sure that you are getting product in that area to help tame any frizz if you do struggle with a lot of root frizz. And I actually have a video about root frizz if you are really struggling with a lot of flyaways and just frizz all over the top of your head. I definitely recommend checking out that video. I will have it linked down below. So you want to be able to isolate the baby hair section to do some fine-tune styling. So I like to usually divide my top section into 2 separate horizontal sections. So I will first style the back crown area, which I like to style in a way that helps to cover the cowlick that I have in the back and just cover the scalp better. So I usually brush all of that straight up and back. So in order to keep my hair out of my face in the front section, I do create a small part, but the part doesn't go all the way back. So after I've applied my gel to this section, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to style your baby hairs. The first way I'm going to show you on my left side, and this side is going to be more ideal if you have looser curls and waves that don't curl directly at the root. And the objective with this method is going to be to blend the hairs into curl clumps. So in order to blend the baby hairs into curl clumps, you want to isolate the baby hair areas for fine-tuned styling and the hair around it. So I'm not only picking up the baby hair area and curling that with the brush, but I'm actually picking up the hair around it, and that's gonna help blend it. This is also how I like to cover my grays. It's a great way to kind of tuck any gray hairs into existing curl clumps around it. So that way they're not sticking out separately and they're not gonna dry all frizzy because they're in that curl clump. It's also a great way to help your hair last longer because the frizz stays tucked away even on next day hair. So the reason I did separate curls here instead of just curling everything into one clump is because my curls actually go in alternating directions. So this piece in particular tends to pretty much go away from my face, but if you saw the previous curl that I did before this, it actually went towards my face. So when you do a large clump, you might have hairs that go in different directions. See how I have different types of kind of spirals in this one. So I could separate this, and I probably should, just so the clump is not too large, but overall the baby hairs are tucked away into curl clumps. Now for the other side, I'm going to show you the other method that you can try, and this is going to be more ideal if you have curls that start right at the root, and the objective here is just to style them more precisely so that way they don't frizz up. So I have gel in my hair. I also have gel on my fingertips. This helps a lot, especially with taming frizz that happens at the root. So what you're going to do is, of course, isolate this area, but you're going to pay more attention to how the curls clump together. So you might have tiny little clumps like I do, and we're going to make sure that we can finger coil those and they're natural curl clumps. So I am going to use the brush some. So you'll see I just kind of pulled out the shorter pieces just to separate them and isolate them separately. And this curl right here goes towards my face. So that's why I pay close attention to the direction, because this one actually goes towards my face. So if I try and brush style it in the other direction, it just doesn't do anything. So now I'm gonna actually style this short little baby hair. So I did spritz them with some water, and I'm also applying my gel directly to my fingertips, and I'm gonna do some finger coiling. This helps tremendously, especially if you're gonna be wearing your hair up. This is a great way to individually style these curls so that way they actually curl up, because if you think about it, if you're just styling your hair like at its longer length, then you're not really getting to those baby hairs. So if you're doing any scrunching or any styling, these hairs are really getting missed. So if you can isolate them and actually finger coil them separately, it makes the world of a difference. And if you look closely, you can see the actual direction. So this curl bends towards my face, so that's why I'm going to finger twirl it towards my face. You can also kind of smooth it with your fingers. This helps a lot if you have a lot of tangles and lots of flyaways. It just helps to smooth everything down. It's similar to brush styling, and then you just wrap it around your finger. And so if you look at that up close, you can see that motion there. So I'm just kind of twirling it around the tip of my finger and then shaking it a bit, and then the curl will just fall into place. So if finger coiling is not working for you, then you might want to try picking up either a smaller or a larger section, or just make sure that the clump is meant to go together, because sometimes if you try and pick up too large of a section, the curls might actually want to clump a little bit smaller or go in different directions. So just be a little bit more precise in this area, and it will pay off in the long run to put a little bit more extra time into it, because then it will last a lot longer and not frizz up on next day hair. And I'll actually show you guys my next day hair too at the end of this video. Another thing I wanted to mention is make sure that you have enough slip on your fingers. This weed edge gel is very slippery, so it makes it great for doing things like finger coiling. So another little tip, if you're noticing like a little puff of frizz when your hair is wet, it's probably gonna dry frizzy like that. So I like to just pull out that area and also the hair around it, and then just do a brush curl. So I think I just went in the wrong direction right here. So I'll need to make sure that I go in the other direction that the hair wants to go in, and it curls so much better, especially when I'm doing that brush coiling technique. So now that I'm done styling, you can see that that technique really worked to cover my scalp too. I don't have any of my scalp showing in the hairline area, and especially once the hair is dry, it's going to look even more full in this area. So I highly recommend diffusing. Air drying, it's really hard to control how the hair is gonna look when you air dry. So definitely recommend diffusing. I like to diffuse upside down. I'm using my Curlsmith Diffusion diffuser, and I'm just gonna go all around my head. And then I'm also going to be using the diffuser prongs to actually lift the hair at the root. So this really helps to lift the hair up off of the scalp. We don't want the hair to be stuck to the scalp, and this is another reason why I recommend diffusing over air drying, because you can do things like this, and it helps create more fullness at the scalp, so that way the scalp isn't showing. Because especially when you're doing brush styling, some people with really low density hair struggle with their scalp showing from having too many clumps at the scalp. So diffusing really helps to kind of break that up. Another one of my biggest tips if you want to really amp up the root volume is use these root clips. These are from Curl Keeper. I just clip them along my part, and I also place them in the back section. This really helps to better cover the scalp and kind of force the hair over any cowlicks that you might have back there. And then I finish diffusing. So I like to place these in my hair when my hair is probably about 95 to 100% dry almost. Just when it's right at that point where you can still set the hair into place, but it's not soaking wet, so you actually get more of an impact. So I'm just using the diffuser prongs to still get in there down at the scalp. And then once my hair is completely dry, I'm going to fluff out the roots. So I did take the root clips out for now, just so I can scrunch out the gel cast and just see how my results turned out. And then I like to put the clips back in just while my hair finishes setting and cooling off. And I usually go like finish getting ready, and then I take them out after it sets for a little bit. And this really helps to set that root volume in place. These are my final results. You can definitely tell the baby hairs are tamed and styled. You can definitely see the difference too between the two different styling techniques, the finger coiled side and the brush clumped side. It's definitely more clumped on this side of my hair compared to the other. Now fast forward to my day 2 results. I wanted to show you how my hair looks straight out of the bonnet. It doesn't look bad at all. It's crazy how when you just put in a little bit more effort on wash day to style those baby hairs in any problem areas, it makes such a difference and really saves you time on next day hair because I don't have to do as much refreshing. I am just going around and separating some of the larger curl clumps because they like to kind of stick together on day 2, but it's good that the hair is clumping. That's keeping the frizz tucked away. So I'm just separating them with dry hands. Then just for a quick touch up, you can use just water or add a little bit more gel, or you can do gel and water mixed together if you want to just dilute it a little bit. But I like to use just water on day 2 because this gel can be reactivated with water, and I would rather add as little product as possible so that way it doesn't get any buildup or anything or get way down on next day hair. So I have a little bit of water on my hands, and then I'm just smoothing over any curls that look like they're a little bit frizzy. You can also use your brush to redefine any curls that really just look like they need to be smoothed out or detangled. Using a brush can also help to tuck away any frizz from baby hairs back into their curl clump. Then I'm just hitting my hair with the diffuser for anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, if that, just really quick to set that gel cast back in place. And then I usually just let it finish air drying, and then I'll fluff my hair again. And when you diffuse, it helps to set the gel cast so that way frizz doesn't form. It makes a big difference when you refresh. So now we're actually on to day 3, and I wanted to show you how you can style your baby hairs when you put your hair up, because I know it can be hard when they're just sticking out on the side, especially if you have breakage or new growth and your scalp is showing. So I'll also show you some tricks on how to make your hairline look a little bit fuller. So I'm just putting my hair up in a high bun. I'm using a Curlfriend Collective scrunchie. These are one of the best scrunchies that I've tried for buns because they give your hair lots of volume. They're very stretchy, and these won't cause any breakage because these are silk. So you can totally just leave your baby hairs pulled back, but I find that if I pull them out and style them, I have a lot less frizz because they don't usually go all the way back into the scrunchie, so they just kind of frizz out, especially throughout the day. So I'm just gently pulling out the ones that I want to style. And I wanted to share a couple different options. You can just use water, so I just wet my fingertips down and did a few finger coils. So if you have a gel in your hair that's going to reactivate with water, then this is a great option. A lot of times I'll just do this. But if I don't have product in my hair, I can't usually use just water. I need something to tame the frizz. Another option is to use a product like the Ouidad Touch Up Gel Cream or their pomade, but I actually prefer the gel cream for taming baby hairs. I just put a tiny amount on my fingers, and then I just finger coiled these pieces again. You probably need to wet them as well with water if you want them to curl back up. You can also just use water and the gel that you used on wash day, but the touch-up cream is really nice too. And if you're really struggling with hair loss, or you're seeing your scalp a lot, or you want to fill in your hairline, you can use a root touch-up spray. This one's from Heritage by Mindy McKnight. They come in lots of different colors. It's from the drugstore. Really great product just to fill in your hairline. And the other nice thing about these is it's really good at covering gray. So if you have a little gray patch you want to cover up, you can totally use it for that too. I don't use these every day, but if I just wanted it to look nice for like an occasion or something. So an alternative way to styling your baby hairs is what they call laying your edges. This is more commonly done with anywhere from type 3C curls and higher. So those very coily hair types, people who have a very tight curl pattern, these hair textures can usually benefit from laying the edges. And I'm definitely not an expert in this area. I've never done that because I don't have that hair type that it really works with. I mean, I guess anyone could do it, but you usually see it with those tighter curl patterns. So I can link you to some other creators down below. Chelly's Curls, she comes to mind. She always has her edges laid. So I will definitely link you to their profiles down below because they'll be a much better help than me if that is the route you want to go with styling your baby hairs. So now let's cover how to take care of baby hairs and how to encourage new growth. So you're going to want to avoid as much tension as possible in order to reduce breakage. So in order to avoid breakage, you want to avoid very tight hairstyles. People who wear their hair up every single day very tight usually end up with breakage in the same area, especially along the hairline. So definitely avoid very slick back hairstyles. I recommend wearing your hair up loosely in a scrunchie, a silk scrunchie, because that's not going to cause as much breakage. You also want to avoid any type of rough detangling. I like to detangle with a pre-poo oil, and I'm just very gentle with it. I don't rip through knots. I just gradually separate them with my fingers. Then you want to make sure that you are strengthening the hairs in this area. I like to use Olaplex to strengthen the hair. Olaplex is a bond building treatment. This is the number 3 treatment. So I like to do these usually about twice a month to help keep my hair strong. I definitely focus this on my hairline area and anywhere where I get a lot of breakage. So if you want to encourage growth, I recommend using some type of hair growth serum or taking a hair vitamin or collagen or something like that. I'm currently taking collagen, so I haven't been using hair growth serums because I've really been trying to give collagen a chance for a couple of months to see if it works. But if I do see a difference from the collagen I'm taking, I will definitely share it, but I want to give it a fair shot. But I did still want to share some hair growth serum options if you are looking to get one. This is from Curlsmith. This is the scalp stimulating booster. So this is just supposed to help create a healthy environment on your scalp for hair growth. I really like using this to refresh. If you use it consistently, it's going to do a better job at encouraging hair growth. I don't have the other serum, the elixir, on hand with me, but highly recommend that as well. They work a lot better when you use both of them together. Another option is this Living Proof Scalp Care Revitalizing Treatment. This is a really interesting treatment. They describe it as kind of like a fertilizer for your scalp. So it's supposed to help make the hair stronger as it's growing out of your head and actually help thicken the hair strand itself. So I don't know if it's like making your hair coarser, but it just tends to make it stronger. And I actually did a full trial with this. I think I saw a difference in it. I can let you guys tell. I'll put the picture up here if you want to see the difference in my hairline area. But I did stop using it because I wanted to test some other stuff, but this is another option. So I'm gonna link you to all the products that I used in this video in the description box down below. And if you like this video and you're still struggling with your hair or you're struggling with scalp covering, highly recommend checking out the video that I did all about how to cover your scalp. So it's basically the same type of video, but focus on the crown area in the back. So if you have a cowlick in that area, or if you're having hair loss in the back crown area, definitely check out this styling video because I show lots of tips and tricks for low density curls. So I will talk to you over there. Bye everyone.